Our next presenter, I will first say, is the incredible illustrator designer of the 2019 LAZF design, which you should be clapping for.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Sophia Zarders is an illustrator, comic artist, and zine queen from Long Beach, California. Their illustrations have been published in The Nation, Socialist Review, Resist Magazine, Shameless Magazine, and other independent publications. The Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, Forward Together, and the Long Beach chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America have commissioned Sophia for bold and powerful poster designs. Their work always hints at intersectional feminist ideals, spiritual infatuations, and a twisted sense of humor. They are currently working on a graphic novel called Jesus Freak, and often table at local zine fests. And I would like to welcome Sophia Zarders.
Woo!
Hello.
Hey.
I'm dressed for RuPaul's Drag Con, which is happening at the LA Convention Center, so yeah, that's why I'm dressed like this. So hello, welcome. I'm Sophia, obviously. So a little bit about me. I'm a comic artist and illustrator. I'm from Long Beach, California, and I graduated from Cal State Long Beach with a BFA in illustration.
Woo!
Yeah. I draw and paint a lot of portraits, and I love depicting people who influenced me, and so this is what that will mostly be about. So I really started drawing and painting different activists and artists in 2014, and I had a series of watercolor portraits of different people who influenced me, and I started by depicting a lot of historical figures, specifically Angela Davis and Eartha Kitt and other women who led civil rights and were part of the Black Power movement. And since then I've kind of gone more towards contemporary figures, even though Angela Davis is still contemporary, but maybe people who are leading different waves of feminism now, or queer and trans justice, and really focusing on lesser known people. So these are some examples from those years. The first is Kay Ulunde Barrett, who is a poet and activist. I'm going to be looking at my notes app, and I feel like a brain's made right now, speaking of cutting, but so excuse my phone. But yeah, so Kay is a poet, performer, educator, and they have a wonderful poetry chapbook called When the Chant Comes. That's incredible, and throughout this presentation with every person that I'm going to talk about, be sure to look them up and buy their work and support them. In those same years, I did a superhero series, and where I illustrated different activists as superheroes, and I was really fascinated with the idea of a superhero and the mythology of that. So for a little bit, I did some of those portraits. So on the right is Atena Farghadani, who is an Iranian cartoonist, and she was imprisoned for 18 months for portraying Iranian officials as monkeys and goats. And the Iranian government found that, and they did not like that, and they imprisoned her. And then she was released in May 2016. But the entire time that she was in prison, she was protesting the awful conditions there as well. So she's really, really incredible. Oh, I don't think the pictures are working, but you can find them on my website. So in 2015, in one of my classes at Cal State Long Beach, I had a project where we were asked to make an alphabet card series, and we could choose whatever thing we wanted. And I decided to do a feminist artist theme where I depicted different artists that influenced me. I also did a lot of research into contemporary artists who are changing the game in whatever field that they are in. And it really sparked something for me, and I ended up doing another series last year with a whole set of different artists, same alphabet theme. And so on the left is Tatiana Bazvalizadeh, who is an amazing visual artist based in Brooklyn, and she has a really amazing poster campaign called Stop Telling Women to Smile. And she posted all these different posters around New York, specifically Brooklyn, that had different portraits on them of people that she knew, and different phrases that were calling out catcalling culture. And she's been invited by so many cities around the world to make posters in different languages, all about recognizing patriarchy and calling it out, and she's really amazing. She also does a lot of art for the Netflix series She's Gotta Have It, so she's kind of worked with Spike Lee and making some more pieces, which is really amazing. On the right is OOMK Zine, which stands for One of My Kind. They're a collaborative zine that started in 2014, and they focus on faith, activism, identity, and it's all run by young women. Yeah, they're really cool. So after that, I started doing a more explorative zine with illustrations, poems, whatever creative outlet I wanted to explore. And the zine was called Flossie Dickey. And each issue I invited a different artist in my life who I was friends with and close with and wanted to showcase their work. So these are 3 of the artists from that series, but I really wanted to focus on also local artists, so artists that were from Long Beach or Orange County or just really in my community. The first is Dominic Zavaglio on the left, who's a queer artist, performer, and a tattoo artist. The middle is by Basil Larios, who is an amazing animator and illustrator from Paramount. And then the third is Anel Labrador, who is an illustrator, comic artist, and zinester from Long Beach. Next I worked on Proud to Be Me, which is a zine for kids about youth activists, and I worked on that with Carly Lake, who's an illustrator, and we were both in the same BFA program at Cal State. And I realized over time that a lot of my work is, like so much of it is just researching different people, and this one was definitely research-based, but it was amazing just to find so many different young people and children who are fighting for their rights, and so we wanted to make a zine that really showcased a lot of them. So 2 of the groups that we talked about were Sophie Cruz, who was a 6-year-old public speaker who spoke at the Women's March about immigration and talked about her family, and really everyone should look up her speech. It's really amazing. But yeah, and then Carly illustrated that portrait of Sophie And then on the right is My Girls in Action, KGA, which is a Long Beach-based grassroots organization, and they empower women and youth in Southeast Asian communities in Long Beach. And then last year, my second round of the feminist art alphabet, and it was just so amazing to come back to that idea and to do another section of it, I guess, and a lot of research again. But so on the left is Fuck You, Pay Us. Yeah, you should go say hi to them. They're tabling over there. But they're amazing, obviously. So radical. And then on the right is Regina Jose Galindo, who's a Guatemalan performance artist. And she tackles violence against women in her work, and she's really incredible. But I will say, if you Google her work, to just like be aware that a lot of it is pretty triggering and violent and gory, but it's very powerful. And my last project was called You're Funny for and it's about women and trans comedians and non-binary performers in the contemporary comedy scene. And I absolutely love stand-up comedy and sketch comedy, and wanted to pay tribute to all the comedians that I'm so excited to see right now in the scene and are just making big waves. And so this was really fun to sketch and draw, and also like post on my social media and get in touch with a lot of them. So the first one is Patty Harrison, who's amazing and just bizarre comedian based in LA right now, and she's on the Hulu show Shrill at the moment. Nicole Byer is just like one of the rising stars of comedy right now, and you've probably seen her on Nailed It, which is on Netflix, but you should definitely look up her stand-up. It's very, very blue. And then Marcela Arguello is another stand-up who hosts Women Crush Wednesdays, which is a comedy show at the Hollywood Improv Lab. And she's really awesome because she's making a space for lesser-known comics in the comedy scene. So, yeah. Feel free to like look up all these people, maybe take a picture or something, but they're so incredible. Definitely go support their work, and I've had so much fun researching all these people and finding out about them and supporting their work. And it's one of the reasons that I love being an artist, and it's one of the ways that I can really be passionate about my work as well. And it's just so amazing to see people making waves in their communities and in the creative world. So yeah, after this, come chat with me. I'm in booth when I'm free. And